apologize for the audio issue that we may have had here. Hopefully y'all can hear us now. Hit the button, Diggy.
Technical difficulties at the moment.
Yeah, no, we're fixed now. I'm looking at my monitors and all going, why can I not see the little bar moving that says we're talking? Because the producer's an idiot. That's why. Ari Corcadillos not really making up any ground either here. Oh, wow. Big slide for Yoshikawa.
What a save. He didn't lose any ground at all.
No, that was impressive. And now we've got the fight back just here with Darren Fahey and Everett Paddock. Fahey going to be able to get the pass made into turn number 1. I don't think this counts as a corner because it's flat out, but this is turn 2. And then you're going to make the run up the hill to turn 3. Paddock going to come back around the outside. Oh, Fahey, a little bit of a lockup on corner entry. May allow Mike Holler to have a chance to make the move.
He got her woe down good enough.
Let's take a look and go on board here with Darren Fahey. There's Mike Holler coming through inside. You take a look out the nose. Holler's going to be right there. Ripe for the taking. But he's going to block the line off that would give you a shot into turn number 2. And Brian Labarge going to be right there to attack as well. Holler looks up the inside. Fahey gives plenty of room to the outside. Man, that narrows up so much on corner exit, though.
It's a great corner to go side by side through, even with how it narrows at the edge, especially with these cars and their lack of relative size.
Oh, a little bit of a slide there for Brian Labarge. He's going to lose a spot to Corcadillos and now have to fight with Sam Carasala. Take a look at that one on the NRN replay. Oh, just a big dive bomb by Corcadillos. Big into the side of Labarge.
Yeah, a bit of puntage there.
A little bit. That was non-consensual left side loving. Sliding up towards turn 1 will pick up Nagisa Yoshikawa and Mobin Khan. I can't believe that we were muted when you called the guys who run the FIA Grade 1 tracks basic bitches. That is so disappointing.
Right? Like, where is my baseless fury at those who wear Ugg boots gonna go?
I believe you called them the pumpkin spice lattes of the iRacing world.
That I did. Once again, send off email to Bizzle at nationalracingnetwork.com.
Yes, let's flood Bizzle's email box tonight since he's not here to defend himself.
And I will be sure to read absolutely none of it.
That's the best part. We get the emails sent to Bizzle so we don't have to read them.
Yep. I don't even have the login info. Although I'm willing to bet the password is probably the dat Bizzle at 6969420 or something to that effect.
Yeah, I think I know the password to that email account. I will not give it out on the air. But
probably for the best.
Darren Fahey, Mike Collar doing battle here as Aiden Luis Ingrata sets another new fastest lap of the race. He's led all 5 to this point. This battle, well, the battle we were on was simmering down. This one is not. Mobin Khan, Nagisa Yoshikawa in the battle for the 4th position. Yosh not going to have the look here into 3. Sometimes you almost don't want to try to make the move there, though. You're going to take the, because you have this long backstretch, and we saw what Corcadilos was able to do with it. I mean, as much as you may have said it, we may have said it was a dive bomb, you still make up a ton of ground with the draft down there, and then you're kind of into the twisty bits for the second half of the lap. So there is no real chance for the car that you passed to go back on the attack.
Yeah, it makes too much sense to, because you have another great passing opportunity, plus it's not a great opportunity for whoever you're passing to have an opportunity to defend back, you know, because you get into the twisty bits and immediately the car trying to defend the inside or whatever is suddenly on the outside and they're in a precarious position. So it just brings the odds better for your own favor, higher in your favor rather, doing it that way instead of just sending it into turn 3/2/1.
Aiden Luis Ingrata, another fastest lap, this time a 125.731, which is absolutely flying around this place. We talked about the fact that the laps would get faster than we saw in qualifying, but what's really crazy is that over the 5-lap average, Ingrata's almost 0.3 of a second faster than Ted Burns running in second. We never hear that said, that Teddy B has somebody that is significantly faster than he is.
Right? Like, Ted's always in alien class, so this is a bit unnerving to see.
And Ingrata stands to make a huge iRating gain here, too, if he could keep that car on the straight and narrow. Unofficially, 109 iRating points to the good for Ingrata. Well, yeah, he's a 30.57. Actually, we have 2 cars in the top 5 that are right around the 3,000 mark. A 30.57 for Ingrata and a 28.39 for Mobin Khan. And Ingrata again goes fastest lap of the race. It looks like you almost get the feel like you can see every once in a while, you'll see Ingrata pop up in the shot and you go, oh, Teddy's closing in a little bit. He's almost 0.6 of a second slower on a lap by lap basis.
Gracious. Yeah, that's
I mean, there you see it. It's like, okay, yeah, we may end up with a fight here. And then you look at the timing tower and you see it's 2.7, 2.8 seconds. You're like, man, alive. This guy's flying.
We are not used to this at all. This is uncharted waters, for lack of a better term.
I think we had one of these races earlier this season that I described the performance as Greg Seitz-esque.
Yeah, like we're used to Teddy doing the 0.6 of a lap pulling away, not being the recipient of it.
Well, and in a lot of respects, that boils down to, you know, the racetrack intimately. You're going to be able to potentially beat somebody that knows the car intimately, because the braking point, I mean, when you're talking about 0.1 of a second here, it's a matter of what, 50 feet, 100 feet in the braking zone? It's not a huge difference.
No, and if you can get that extra little bit consistently without fail, then you're gonna see it add up. Because, you know, saving like a 0.5 here or there every corner, you know, that doesn't seem as much, but this is like 9-10 corner track, so add up a tenth, about a 0.5, 0.75 of a tenth, and that adds up to around 0.6 of a lap. So you add it all together and you get what we see tonight.
Well, we got a couple other pretty decent battles here. Let's pick up Mike Collar and Ari Corcadilos. This is the battle for the 8th position. Corcadilos sat on the pole position tonight by, I believe it was 69 thousandths of a second. It was very tight between Corcadilos and Ingrata at the front of the field. That's where we thought we would see the battle. Corcadilos went around all on his own on lap number 1. And that's the difference where knowing the car helps. You're going to know better how it will react on cold tires. You can log thousands of laps, but if you don't practice the race starts and the out laps, it's almost like you're just wasting all that time in the middle.
Precisely, especially with how these tires can get. So it's not as hard to do that as we've seen. We're just all these guys having so much experience on these colder tires, able to triathlon a little better.
Back to the battle between Mobin Khan and Nagisa Yoshikawa for the 4th position. About the same gap that we see just passing there on the screen between Ted Burns and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. Now down inside of 8 laps to go. Not necessarily a huge shakeup potentially in the point standings. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth has already scored points for this week. Brian Molitor not in top split. Everett Paddock currently running in the 6th position. He is going to move up just on the basis of he'll score points for the race. But it's not going to be a ton, especially with Hazelworth finishing ahead. Cole Trexler is not in top split. Brian Labarge is, but he's back in the 11th position, so this may turn into a drop week for Labarge. Rest of the top 10 in points that are in the race here. Darren Fahey is 6th in points and currently runs in the 7th position on the racetrack. Frank Wynn is 8th in points, and he is 13th and out of this race. Tough break there for Frank.
Yeah, this is kind of, I don't know if I want to say disaster because there's nothing you can do, but it's really unfortunate for Molitor and Trexler being down in bottom split, because likelihood they're probably, you know, running out front, probably 1 and 2, but like it's just so little point that they're gonna get from being down in the second split. Like even finishing top 5 in this split is probably going to be a lot more points than what they're getting for the hypothetical finishing first or second down in second split. So
correct.
It's just a huge knock to their championship, and it sucks because there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that was kind of, it's not linear. So it's not like if you finish last in bottom split, you will always earn more than first place in second split. It's based on the iRating of the field. So if you're in an NIS race where you're going to have 37 splits, you're going to pay pretty good points all the way around. It's where you're in a series that only has 2 splits. That's where you really get jammed up, because instead of an iRating, an SOF of 3560, you're talking an iRating SOF in the mid 2000s. And that's a huge difference. As Holler, oh, a little bit of a bump and run. Trying to on Corcadilos. Great battle here between Mike Holler and Ari Corcadilos. This is the fight for 8th. The gap to the lead is still about 4.5 seconds. Ooh, Haller thought about sneaking out there. Going to give up a bunch of time as he tucks back in line. Take a look here. Mobin Khan, Nagisa Yoshikawa are still locked in their battle. Moving a little bit further forward, you see race leader Aiden Luis Ingrata come through the frame, and then it's the battle for second between Ted Burns and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. Oh man, big drop back there for Hazelworth. So we'll move to the battle between Mobin Khan and Nagisa Yoshikawa. The fight for 4th with 5 laps to go.
Wow, this race has gone by quickly.
Yeah, we're, I don't know, I guess what, about 20 minutes or so in. But when you're turning laps in the 1 minute 25 second range, it's going to do that. Now, Ted Burns able to open the gap up ever so slightly on Hazelworth. Teddy B now within about 0.2 a lap of the race leader, but he is still down 0.2 a lap. So over that 5-lap average, you're talking about giving up basically almost a full second on the racetrack. This is really a perfect example of what you were talking about, James. Yoshikawa has almost nowhere to go, and you almost have to run a slightly different line than the car in front of you, because with how long some of these straights are, you're probably going to be kind of medium downforce type configuration here. Medium to low downforce even potentially. You really have to be able to maximize every little bit of downforce you can get on the front wing of this car.
Pretty much, you know, as you said, you can't take off a whole lot because you have all those straights, but you can't put as much as you want to deal with the second sector. Like, there's a good amount of twisty bits in the second sector that you still need to have some grip to get, but if you crank in a whole bunch of wing, you're just going to be suffering through the other 2/3 of the track. So it's always difficult for these setup builders having to find that nice balance that we're always talking about.
Well, no battle for the race lead right now. Let's slide back a little bit here and pick up the battle between Haller and Corcadillos as Haller tries the dive bomb. Almost had the pass completed. Here comes Corcadillos fighting back. Oh, big wiggle there for Haller. This battle has been fantastic. And I'll tell you what, to a guy like Mike Haller, who's coming into this race, a 28-11 I rating, carrying the number 12, you're battling the guy who was on pole by a light year over where the rest of the field was outside of the front row. Now all of a sudden you're battling tight with him in the race. That's a big confidence boost there.
Yeah, seriously, like being able to keep up with someone like that's big, especially with how much faster he was in qualifying. So yeah, this is interesting. And we've seen Mike run great here before. Well, I always bring it up.
Oh, there's contact. Holler slides wide, so does Corcadilos. Oh, Holler is not going to be happy with that.
No.
That was a Pruitt fade by a pretty wide margin, and now Holler's going to be able to have the look inside. Probably pretty wisely backs out of it there as we're down to 2 to go. It's brought Sam Carasala back into the fight as well, as it's now 8th, 9th, and 10th on the board. Now we'll pick up Mobin Khan, Nagisa Yoshikawa. The white flag is out, 1 lap to go here at the Red Bull Ring. Khan all the way down to the inside. He's going to cover that lane, try to break the draft. Pick up your race leader as he will be coming through the final sector of the race course. Aiden Luis Ingrata has been incredible in this race here tonight. His best lap is a 125.588. His 15 lap average 125.713. Just continued sustained excellence lap after lap tonight. And a nice piece of driving on lap 1 to avoid the spinning Corcadilos. Already past the pit entry off the final corner. Checkered flag in the air. Aiden Luis Ingrata gets the win at the Red Bull Ring. Battle for second over the line. That one's going to go to Ted Burns. Oh, in trouble for Mobin Khan. Khan's backwards at the next to last corner. Darren Fahey able to come past. Yoshikawa Paddock also passed. Now this battle between Holler, Carasala, and Corcadilos. Holler claims 8th, and Sam Carasala gets around Ari Corcadilos for 9th. Wow. A lot going on there on the final lap. Let's take a look. Let's pull up some instant replays here. Looks like trouble possibly for Mobin Khan. I don't know if he had help or not. Oh, wow, that was tight with Yoshikawa. Oh, may have been a little bit of contact. Khan slides off the race course. He's able to get everything kind of wound back up, but he's going to lose a couple of positions. The other one we'll take a look at here. Sam Carasala and Ari Corcadilos. Corcadilos not able to have the look on Holler. Runs a little bit wide. Carasala, nice pass. Sam Carasala able to put that car up inside the top 10. And it looks like we have an unserved penalty on Ari Corcadilos. He went from position 10 behind Rod Eskew back to 12th behind Brian Labarge.
Wow.
So as we go back to the live look, let's get you your race results here. Aiden Luis Ingrata getting the win by 5.6 seconds over Ted Burns. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth coming home third, followed by Nagisa Yoshikawa and Everett Paddock. Darren Fahey 6th, Mobin Khan 7th, Mike Holler in the 8th position, 9th to Sam Carasala, and there you see Rod Eskew up in the 10th position. Back in 11th, Brian Labarge and Ari Korkadilos being scored basically one lap down, a minute 4 behind the race leader. Frank Wynn 2 laps down in 13th, and William Boothiler in the 14th position, going out very early in this one here tonight. So let's get ready for our, well, I don't think we're going to have a true victory lane interview here tonight, but let's bring in our third place finisher here, Mr. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. And I'll tell you what, Alex, a really interesting battle we saw with you and Teddy there throughout this race. Talk us through your night a little bit, because it seemed like the pace was there. It almost like there just wasn't the right spot to attempt the move.
It's pretty accurate because Sector 3 I was getting understeer, and then so it sort of held me back by the time we got to the main straight. But I felt like Sector 2 I was able to attack, but yeah, eventually Burns got away from me.
Is that just a function of how the car was set up, or was there something else going on in play? I mean, was it as simple as just a difference in downforce?
I'm not too sure if it was a difference in downforce. I just know that when Sector 3 hit on the last turn before the final stretch, I was like, I had a lift to go wide. But I think even then, he was still faster than me on the final sector, even if I had clean air.
Well, it was a nice run for you here tonight, and quite frankly, a pretty good points night as well. Entered the night having already run a race this week as the points leader. You got to be feeling at least pretty confident that you're going to be in contention here as we head into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think so too. I was hoping Paddock would be behind Khan and Nagisa, but I guess he got past at least one of them.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue there with Mobin at the finish, but yeah, great run for you tonight, and congratulations on the podium. Before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous you want to get in here as well.
Yep, thank you everybody, and thanks for the broadcast.
All right, brother. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a minute, and now it's time to bring in the guy who I guess we can say was best in class tonight. Aiden Luis Ingrata absolutely smoked the field. But Ted Burns, congratulations on the podium. We were just talking to Alexander about this. A really nice battle that you guys had, and quite frankly, it felt like it was just a little bit difference in setup that really marked the difference for the two of you.
Yeah, for sure. I think he may have been running a little bit more downforce because I could usually get a little bit run on a straight, but yeah, he could definitely outbrake me in some of those corners. So definitely made it interesting trying to keep him behind me there. So I had to kind of play it safe, maybe go a little bit longer in some of the break zones. But yeah, I mean, got to give a big congrats to Aiden because he just drove off with it. I had nothing for him tonight.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I believe James described our invaders as the pumpkin spice latte drinkers, the guys who like the FIA grade 1 tracks. But sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge because you know the car, but they know the racetrack. Sometimes you have to be able to extract the most out of the car, and sometimes you have to be able to extract the most out of the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure, and I think that hits the nail on the head. I think I was able to drive the car, confidently. Downforce racing gave me a great setup tonight where I could really push the car and be confident in it lap after lap. But I think my lack of practice and lack of enjoyment of the grade 1 track is just showing tonight, and that I just couldn't quite get the maximum out of it. I knew that if I could roll just a couple more miles an hour through like the final sector, get a little bit closer to picking up that 1x or that slowdown, each lap, I'd be able to claw back that 2/3 margin each lap, but. Yeah, it just wasn't quite comfortable, pushing into that limit. So maybe that's, I got to run some more laps here, or just drive some other cars here or something. But it was definitely the theme for tonight.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the podium. And before we let you go, do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous here too.
Yeah, got to thank Downforce Racing. We still had a pretty fast car tonight, so but as always, it was a dream to drive. So I got to thank everyone on the team for the support and help with that. Thanks to you guys putting on such a great broadcast. I love watching it, even though I couldn't make it the last couple weeks. So hopefully, schedule lightens up and I'm able to come out and race the guys a little bit more often here on the Thursday nights. Always enjoy that. And thanks everyone for coming out to the series, especially some of the new faces tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you on that one there too, Ted. It's important for a car that is, I will say, a little bit light on participation to get the new bodies showing up, James, and we saw a little bit of that tonight.
Yeah, it's cool to see fresh faces. You know, we hope that they put down the pumpkin spice latte and come back for some of the other staples on the calendar. You know, it'd be great to see a lot of these guys for Oval Week. But yeah, it was awesome, you know, seeing all of these fresh faces and putting on a really fascinating race. Again, hopefully we see them all come back next week.
Yeah, and so speaking of staples of the circuit, 1 week from tonight, we will be at Oran Park. Looking forward to getting back there for round number 6 of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. But first, we got 4 more races to go on the calendar for next week. The Silver Crowns kick things off at Michigan International Speedway Monday night. That'll be 9:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Follow it up with the TNT Shock All Oval Series visiting the road course at Willow Springs. That makes sense. It's logical, allegedly. That race will start at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this Tuesday. Follow it up with the Sim Racers Club at Kansas. That'll be Wednesday night, 9 p.m. in the East. Followed by the Indy Pro 2000s at Oran Park. Coming up this weekend, we are going to be crazy busy here on the National Racing Network. I will be out at Winchester Speedway working on the crew for Racing America, MAV TV, and a whole bunch of others for the Winchester 400 Super Late Model Race. You can see that one live on Racing America TV. Tape delay should be on MAV TV, I believe, about a week later. At the same time, we're going to be recording all of the cameras for the Spec Corvette series. They will be at Button Willow, I believe, this weekend. And they have a full field of 20 Spec Corvettes on the pre-entry list. And I think we're going to have cameras in about 16 of them, which is going to be absolutely incredible. We're really looking forward to that. I can't wait to put the highlight package together for these guys. And quite frankly, spectacular partners the Spec Corvette series has been. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. I got Phillies baseball to watch. James has iRacing to do. And I got to get ready to fly out to Winchester, Indiana as well. Well, Dayton, Ohio, but whatever. So with that, we're getting the hell out of here. For James Watson and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.